Yo, what it do, baby boo? John, what's up, man?
What's going on, man? Dude, love that hat. Throwback.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, dude, $25 on the rack at and with the blue undervisor.
Sweet.
What?
I'm loving it.
25
70s. What is that?
bucks.
70s Phillies? 80s?
Oh
70s.
yeah. They're throwbacks, dude.
It's like Steve Carlton stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, it was only 25 bucks. I'm like, that is getting slept on. I don't know why everybody
Where'd you get that?
love that. Lids here in Philly.
Sweet.
Yeah. Right?
I
What's
love it,
good, man?
What's been going on, man? It's been a while. Sorry, my 1-year-old son is screaming in the background.
That's all right. He just wants to
Dad-like,
on,
you know
right?
what I mean? Well, you don't know, but maybe one day you will.
Pretty soon.
I have these bags under my eyes.
Yes, he just wants to get on the hottest podcast in the game right now. Apparently,
He's been clamoring. He's got like a bunch of hot takes, and I'm like, Theo, you're one. Like, again, like I have to break it to him. Like, these takes aren't as nuanced as you think they are.
Right.
He wants to talk about how great Finding Nemo is. We've seen that 5 million times. I'm like, I'm really over it. It's not that great. He insists on talking about it. I said that's not really this type of podcast. But at some point he has to become a man, and I have to tell him how things are and say, you're not allowed to come on this podcast yet.
We're not talking about Coca-Melon.
Yeah. You have to have some nuanced takes. You know what I mean? Obviously, he's not ready to do that. And until he is, he will be reprimanded from the pod.
We have a bar here that is set very high.
Yeah.
And if you can't meet it, then you won't be on. Okay.
No, and I love him to death, but it's not
kid.
Up to snuff.
Right.
We have standards on this show.
This is episode 49, John. We're almost at episode 50.
Are we doing some sort of celebration for 50?
I have a scheduled interview on Thursday. I didn't even know it was going to be episode 50, but we'll have to do it for 100 for sure. I'll wear a suit.
Are you at liberty to say who the guest is?
Yeah,
is it me?
No, that's not.
I'm not interested anymore.
I know. It's a female sports capper. She works for Yahoo.
Sweet.
I'll tweet out all of her information tomorrow.
That's awesome, man.
Totally. Lost in the Shuffle, episode 49. Today is Tuesday. John, let's talk about what happened yesterday. Josh Naylor and the Guardians. Guardians came back from the White Sox. They were down what?
It was 8-2, right?
8-2.
And then
we saw the Phillies do the same thing with the Mets earlier this week or the week before that. You remember the Mets were down?
Yes.
Same thing, 7-1, top of the ninth. Insane. So that happened again in like 2 weeks. Josh Naylor goes ham, dude. 8 RBIs after the eighth inning or after. Nobody has done that before. Absolutely insane. He goes nuts in the dugout. Apparently, he got real upset because he was yelling at the fans, maybe. Someone was saying weight comments, possibly. Did you hear that?
So when he hit the home run, he gave the shush sign. By the way, so Hendricks had been completely lights out before that. So he comes in, gives up a line shot base hit to load the bases. And then, but before that too, he's just like pumping in fastballs. Basically, at this point, if you're a hitter, you're just like, all right, he's pumping in fastballs. He's getting ahead of hitters. And Naylor was throwback, no batting gloves. And just first pitch, like Hendricks was operating just with immense confidence. And you're just like, when you're operating with confidence, you're like, I'm throwing fastballs. It's my best pitch and I'm going to get ahead and no one's going to hit me because I've been lights out for like the last 6 outings or something like that. And then Naylor, like, this is how it's hard. This is why it's so hard to pitch in the bigs. First pitch and he smokes it. That as soon as he hit it, I watched it live. I'm like, that's out of here. And he just crushed it to right center field. Gone.
Can you think of 2 other people that bat without batting gloves? First 2 that come to my mind, Evan Gattis, Moises Alou.
Joey Wendell?
Joey Wendell, does he no batting gloves as well?
Yeah, for the Rays, right? Right?
I don't know.
I think.
He's not the first one that came to mind.
Are we talking about right now or of all time?
Oh, I just said all time.
All time, Vladimir Guerrero, obviously no batting gloves. What's that outfielder, center fielder? Tucker for the Astros?
Kyle Tucker.
He has no batting gloves.
Mm-hmm.
Who are others? Some really good no batting gloves.
I just know because Moises Alou used to pee on his hands.
Used to pee on his hands.
Yeah,
What was the thought process behind that? It would make his hands
Hands
stronger or skin?
tougher, apparently. Maybe the nitrogen in your piss would do something to your skin.
Or he just had a weird fetish and he was
Right.
like, it helps my grip.
Yeah, right. It's
Yeah.
good for my fingernails.
No. This helps. Trust me.
Right.
I know it's weird, but I'm a pretty good hitter. You can't sneak a fastball past me, and it's because
I've
I urinate on my hands.
I've talked to a lot of the doctors in Dominican Republic, and they give raving reviews about it.
Lou Piniella and Dusty Baker are like, whatever, as long as you're hitting, I don't really care.
Yeah, you could piss on my hands.
Yeah, it depends on my hit. You're hitting bombs like that. Who cares?
Yeah. So crazy game yesterday. That was awesome. Good for him. Good for Josh Naylor. Great for content purposes. Brings us into our next topic, John. Dead baseballs. There's been some speculation around baseball, spoken by players, by fans. The statistics and runs have gone under more so than overs. Do you believe that there is a different set of baseballs that are the dead baseballs versus the juice baseballs?
I do believe that, and I have a question though. Why at certain points in the year would they delve out juice baseballs versus non-juice baseballs? Is there that's my question, and the only answer I can think of is if they're trying to keep the home runs in a certain range, like they have a quota or something that they're trying to make happen. So if they're tracking ahead or behind schedule, hey, we want to get this particular amount of home runs, so we're going to implement dead baseballs now to limit that. Oh, we're falling behind. All right, we'll put juice baseballs back in to increase the number of home runs. It tells me that there is a set of home runs or some sort of quota that they're supposed to hit or be at near the end of the season. That can be the only explanation.
That makes zero sense to me.
Well, then why would you issue different types of balls during the season? What's the point?
In a league that is determined to get more action, ban the shift, you have to pitch to 3 batters, speed the game up. They are determined to make more offensive plays happen, home runs, doubles, triples, like you said. Why would you distribute dead baseballs? Their entire initiative is the exact opposite of that. So that's my thought process, is like, players can say, oh, they're dead or whatever, but why would they do that? Why would Commissioner Manfred, why are you going to give dead baseballs? I see no advantage to that from what you're trying to do in the league.
I definitely think there's something that they've done with the balls, because there is balls I have seen that normally were pop-ups and then they were gone. And then later they were pop-ups, because I've watched games too. I'm like, oh, that's gone. And then it's caught at the track. And then before, there were other times where I'm like, oh, that's a fly ball. And then it's out of here. I definitely think there's something with the baseballs for sure.
Okay, fair enough. Because there could be something that's here. These are juicy baseballs. And then these are just regular baseballs. You know what I mean? As opposed to these are dead baseballs.
Yeah, I don't think the baseballs are dead, but there's definitely a change with the baseballs. And the players swear by it too. Pitchers too. Like Verlander talked about that too, and a couple other players. And they wouldn't just make that up. And a pitcher knows like a certain pitch probably shouldn't be hit out versus a pitch that there's no way that normally goes out. You know what I mean? And especially these guys have been playing for so many years, so they've noticed these types of changes. Similar things with hitters with the spider tack. They're just like, oh, this stuff is ungodly. Like Garrett Cole was once unhittable, and now he's quite hittable.
He's not even the best pitcher on his team.
Right, exactly. I mean, the Yankees are awesome, but he's not nearly the pitcher he was with Houston as he is with New York, and Spider Tech's a huge point of that. I mean, Trevor Bauer even talked about that too. So these players are in tune. They know. I definitely think I don't think the baseballs are dead, but I definitely think they've done something to the balls. No one's ever going to tell you. It's deep within the vault of MLB headquarters, but I would love to know why. I don't know why they're doing it.
Well, that's the thing, is that's why I don't believe it, just because it goes against everything that they're trying to do.
By the way, you've been knocking for a while, like the rule changes, like shift changes and all these other things, like to speed up the game and a pitch clock. I listened to a podcast with Theo Epstein on it, and he explicitly said it does shorten the game. Like they're tracking that. They're implementing that in the International Atlantic League and all the other leagues with pitch clocks. It's definitely speeding up the game. It's not a question. It's not a matter of opinion. It's like empirically a fact. It's
Okay.
speeding up the game.
So how many new fans are coming to watch baseball because of it?
I think eventually they will. I think you have to.
What
There's
did
a
he say?
couple.
How fast? How much more
I think it's
of the
shaving
game?
off like 20 plus minutes a game at least, and they're only doing it a little bit. They want to implement even more things.
Yeah.
And increasing the base size. Having a larger incentive for people to steal, more action, banning the shift, rewarding athletic ability in the field. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
it requires no athletic ability anymore because you're using advanced analysis. So when the ball is hit, you're standing right there and the ball is caught. But you're seeing less and less. Like web gems used to be so ubiquitous and so more theatrical, and now you're seeing less and less. There's very few defensive plays as there were early 2000s or mid 90s.
I don't know. I've seen a lot of good plays recently.
Not like those plays. No
Like,
way. Not nearly as many.
As what? In the early 90s?
2000s, early 90s, yeah. So many balls are smoked.
But
and the guy is standing right there.
We also understand half of the league or more than them were on steroids or performance enhancing drugs.
I didn't think that was right either. I mean, I enjoyed it. It was entertaining, but doesn't mean it's right.
I would attribute that to that's why the balls were flying off the bats more so than they are now.
Man, I just saw an old clip. It was like, God, it was when McGuire was still with the A's and he was in the Kingdom facing Randy Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, Johnson threw a fastball like at his chin at like 98, and McGuire like a toothpick just whoosh, just crushed it like 400 and like 80 feet to like deep upper deck left center where it's dark in the Kingdom. Like you couldn't even see the ball land. The people were shaded out, and I was just like, Jesus Christ! Like to turn on a ball that's middle in, like right here, and to just flick like all his home runs too. Even with the Cardinals, like it would just flick it,
right?
Like, and it would just like I'm like look where the homers landed, like second deck consistently. Mm-hmm. Like if it went in the print like the first row deck or just over the wall, you're like, what happened? Like my God. Like
barely got a hold of it.
That was embarrassing, like his 62nd home run barely got over the wall, but it was just like his worst home run ever. But every one of those homers, and I just remember being like, Jesus Christ, like this guy's
on something. Yeah, I mean his forearms told the story.
What?
His forearms told the story for me. I mean they were just ungodly.
Even Bonds, some guy explained it too with like steroids with Bonds. They were like, watch Bonds, like the reason he's so like obviously Bonds was great even before steroids, but what steroids does, the biggest thing for a batter obviously is it quickens your bat speed, which is everything. And so you let the ball get in as you let the ball get farther in, you need quicker bat speed. Mm-hmm. And you can generate more power the farther that ball comes in. To like in the zone, so you're not out in front. It's like you're literally like right there. So they're like normal humans it's not humanly possible to let the ball travel that deep in the zone and be able to react. And not only that, not hit it if you're a left-handed hitter like Bonds, drive it to center or left center. I mean, to pull it, it is virtually impossible. And so he was like, Bonds would let that ball travel in farther than anyone. But his bat speed was so quick that when he would make contact, it would be so far in the zone that his bat speed was so quick that he would just make the most solid contact you could like possibly
humanly possible.
Yeah. And he goes, the other thing too, it's like he should have never been able to hit any of those balls that travel that far in to the zone to right center or right field. All of those should have been to left or left center. Yeah. So he's like, that's another reason why it's like impossible. Like he broke it down and saw how deep the ball came into Bonds. He's like, that's not possible. No human can turn on the ball like that.
So that's a big surprise, right? That's what I wanted to get into next. Biggest surprises of this MLB season. I'm going to go first. Your biggest surprise of the season thus far. We finished April. We're into May. It's May 10th. Just about a quarter of the season left. I think we're 40 games in, something like that. Biggest surprise this season, I have how the New York Mets have played without DeGrom. You got Tyler McGill, Carlos Carrasco, Peterson. They are ranked fifth in baseball in ERA with a 3.24. They're also ranked fifth in baseball for runs scored. So how consistent they have been producing runs and keeping runs off the board is just a recipe for success, all without the best pitcher on the planet, DeGrom. I thought that's very impressive. All those acquisitions that they've gotten, Marte, Lindor has been doing well. Mark Canha has been producing a little bit. I think they are, behind the Dodgers, the best team in the NL. I think it's hard to say in, a 7-game series, 5-game series, you're not going to take the Mets.
Okay.
Honorable mention, how bad the Reds are. That's a surprise.
Yeah, but we knew that. We knew they were going to be terrible. They told us they were going to be terrible by
John,
literally.
The other day they were on track to lose 144 games.
They're really bad.
That is like ungodly bad, dude.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. My biggest surprise too is I think Aaron Boone is a terrible manager. I've thought that for a long time, and I'm surprised how the Yankees are doing. I'm really surprised how the Angels are doing. I think a healthy Mike Trout is obviously having Ohtani is immensely important. I think having a healthy Mike Trout is a huge deal also.
Taylor Ward.
But that too. I'm surprised by their pitching is kind of held up. Now I know it's early and that could go south real quick, but my God, that lineup is so potent and so good, and it looks like everyone's healthy. That if they could just get some consistency with their pitching, like. This is a team that has too many good players, like Rendon. Like I love watching their team. I love Madden. That's a team I want to see in the playoffs. I want them to be competitive, and I just please keep it together. Like you have money at the trade deadline, like get another pitcher, like get another starter, get some bullpen relief, like anything. Just please, I want this. It's such a fun team, and no one ever talks about any teams on the West Coast other than the Giants and Dodgers, and rightfully so. They're the two best teams. But God, I want to see Trout in the playoffs. I want to see Ohtani. It would be talk about for the game. It would be so good for the game to highlight our stars and have them play in prime time. So, Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim or whatever you call yourself, like get some fucking pitching. Like, please make yourself relevant as a baseball fan. Like, I want to see your lineup. I want to see your team competitive and in the playoffs because it's just better for baseball.
Yeah. I right now, I don't think they have enough to withstand, that division and the playoffs.
But this is every year. If you know this, like they spend so much money on offense in their lineup. Like, please put some emphasis on your freaking pitching, man. Like what a waste. You're just like throwing money down the drain, unless you're just trying to have people come out to the ballpark and whatever. But as far as competitiveness, like one of the greatest players of all time and one of the greatest, maybe the greatest two-way player ever. I know it's early to say that with Ohtani, but like you want to showcase them, like get your team in the playoffs, like get some pitching. So I'm pleasantly surprised by that. But I mean, you and I know well that could go south real quick.
Tell me about it. John, you had a topic that we did not discuss off air. We were going to save it till we were on here. I want to save the last story for the end.
Okay. What are you referring to my segment?
Yeah, you said you had something you wanted to share about Codify, and then you were going to tell me. I said, no, just save it for on air.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so Codify is something that, I follow them on Twitter, and it's interesting. So something that Lucas Giolito for the White Sox uses, same as Liam Hendricks, and essentially it's a personalized game planning. It's a personalized game plan for pitchers. So it's basic. So I thought, like, why is this thing popular? Why are MLB players using this? Because you have a whole player development, you have a whole scouting report that I would assume had this on there, but it's a couple things. It's like a heat map, and it's what strengths your the hitters you're facing, and at certain times in the count and certain times like plate appearances where they're not as great. So like at a 2-1 count, you want to throw this with this type of spin. At a 3-0 count, is this guy going to swing 3-0? So it has a really personalized game plan. It's also tailored to like your metrics and your analytics. So the type of spin. So, the type of spin on your breaking ball might be more potent to this player in this particular count, but your slider might be based off of the swing of this particular hitter, based off of your personal analytics.
So it's
data.
like a personal baseball savant or a fan graphs.
Pretty much, yeah. And Liam Hendricks was like, it's good to tell me where the hitter is good and where they ain't good. He was just basically is like, it's just really helpful to know, like, all right, this guy, just all you have to do is throw him sliders, like no question. Or
John,
if you get behind in the count, don't throw this guy a fastball. You know what I mean, or whatever.
John, if you're gonna talk, if you're gonna quote Liam Hendricks, you better fucking talk like him. He's an Aussie. You better talk like him.
He's Australian. I don't.
He
really,
is Australian.
I can't really do that. I think it's gonna turn into like a British voice.
Real quick, right? Yeah.
Real quick. Like
Cockney.
I studied abroad for 5 months in London, and anytime I try to do any accent, after a while it gets
off
to be real British.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's something I thought was interesting. I would check it out. Handle Codify Baseball at Codify Baseball. Really, really interesting. So swings at pitches under 2 feet high since 2019. Mike Trout, 547 swings, 23 homers. Aaron Judge, 553 swings, 1 homer, 139 average. So Trout can hit
balls 2 feet off the ground.
Pretty much, which makes sense. He's a low ball hitter. I mean, Trout's a all ball hitter, but definitely a low ball hitter. Yeah, Judge.
And Judge is like 6'7".
Yeah, and Judge is super. Yeah, obviously. Judge also playing well. I don't know why I'm always surprised that when he plays well. Maybe because I never thought he was like incredible.
He's unorthodox. I think you see him and he's very big. He's a very big man, and you see him at the plate. I think it's just maybe because he's not
a graceful player to watch. You know what I mean? Like
injured all the time.
Yeah, that too. That's another problem. Like I love watching Mookie Betts play, even Mike Trout too. Like I love watching Mookie Betts play. I like him at the plate. I like him in the field. Same thing with Baez. Just fun to watch. Judge is like, ugh.
Yeah.
Just like not aesthetically pleasing.
No, even after he got his teeth fixed.
Did he get his teeth fixed?
Yeah, you didn't see that.
Did he get veneers? Like, did he get whole new teeth?
Yeah, it was either that. I think he got veneers or a frenectomy. It's the surgery where you fix the gap in your tooth.
Oh.
The more you know.
Interesting. You wouldn't get like Invisalign for that?
I mean, I don't think if you're a Major League Baseball player, you're getting Invisalign.
That's true. You're like, right? Fix this now. It's weird. Interesting. I saw a picture of Patrick Wisdom for the Cubs like years ago on his Instagram, and
nose job, right? Or
no teeth.
Yeah.
Like he looks like a different person.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy.
I think the person that did his teeth was on TikTok, and they made a TikTok about it.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and then she was like, I got his permission. It was fine, because I knew as soon as you said that, it was either his like nose or teeth or something like that.
Yeah, it's his teeth. I only say that because every time he comes on the screen watching a Cubs game, my wife talks about how attractive he is, and then a little part of me,
she's not wrong.
Inside. I mean, he is very good looking. Even I was like, nah, he's pretty hot.
And when he rounds third after home run, he's just
he
like
shows his chest. Yeah,
yeah.
I was just like,
it's
if
cool.
if I shaved all the hair off my chest, I mean, it would look exactly like that.
Exactly. We would have to get a really big weed whacker. Story of the day, John. Story of the day. It's not baseball related, but I feel bad for people that hate Tom Brady, because you will be seeing him and hearing him for the rest of your life. He's probably not going to, I mean, he's already been around for 2 decades playing football. If you hate him, you've had to deal with him for 2 decades. He's still not retired. And he just signed a 10-year, $375 million contract with Fox Sports. So even when he's done playing, he's going to be in the booth telling you all about it.
Yeah. I mean, being a Packer fan and him ruining our opportunity to go to the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. I struggle with Brady. It's like I respect him so much. I think he's one of the all-time greats. I am definitely tired of him. I'll tell you this, I would so much rather him be in a booth. I could do that. I'm so tired of watching him play. So tired.
What?
Also because the Packers have a hard time beating him.
Right.
And they are a huge obstacle for the Packers to try to win the Super Bowl. So that also pisses me off that, like, God, he's here for another year. Like, I am so tired of watching him play. Also because he's not fun. He was never fun to watch. Talk about someone who isn't aesthetically interesting or exciting or fun to watch. It is.
What do you mean? Because he's not a mobile quarterback?
His arm isn't great. He's not a mobile quarterback. He doesn't have a fraction of the talent of Mahomes or Rodgers or anybody. He's so boring to watch, but he's efficient and he wins. And he's no one's ever going to surpass his Super Bowl numbers, but he sucks to watch. The Patriots are garbage. They sucked to watch. Like the Patriots, like dynasty
they almost
run,
went undefeated.
I understand.
I'm
not saying he wasn't good, but like ultimately, I'm a football fan. It's not the team I root for. Most people are not Patriot fans, and watching him play is so boring and not interesting. And he's just the most efficient player of all time at his position. He knows what the defense is going to do. So much of what he does is audible out of bad plays into good plays. So much of what he does is between the ears. He's accurate, and he's got a fairly good arm, but he doesn't do anything that when I tune in, I don't like. I'm not excited to watch one of his games. I wasn't excited to watch that when he played for New England. New England was one of the worst teams to watch. I'd be like, oh God,
I don't understand.
They're gonna win. And
he has been on how many game-winning drives where he started on the opposite side of the field and has driven his team to the opposite end zone to score. How can you say that's not exciting or fun to watch? And it happens on such a consistent basis that you can't say, oh, every once in a while he does it. You give him a minute and the game's over. He will get in field goal range. He will score a touchdown. And you've seen that for 2 decades. So I don't know how you say that.
He's great. I've never really enjoyed watching his play. I've always found it not interesting and boring, and frankly, because I know the ending. I know I'm like, he's gonna figure this out. He's gonna do it. It won't be anything interesting that he does. He will find a defect in the defense and he will exploit it. He will throw a slant to Edelman. He's gonna run it 3 times with James White. Okay, they're creeping up. He's going to audible. He's going to loft one to Gronk. I'm just like, yeah, it's like a guy. It's like watching a grandmaster chess player, just like win all the time. And I'm like, I get it. Like, I'm ready for something interesting, you know? Like,
is he going to be more fun to watch in the booth?
Oh, it'll be so much more palatable for me in the booth. I just don't want to watch him anymore. I am so annoyed he has come back for another year. And the reason is because it's going to be boring. It won't be interesting and he will win. Like ultimately that's at the end of the day, that's all that matters. But as a fan, as an NFL fan, I think he's so boring. I think he is such a boring person. And I think he's so boring to watch. Now, if he was on my team, I care less. I'd be like, who cares? He wins. That's all I care about. But as a football fan, I'm so ready for him to be done. I feel like the majority of football fans are definitely over Tom Brady, except
Right.
for probably Patriots fans and obviously Bucs fans.
And we can't say that because we grew up in the Chicagoland area, but I'm sure as Michael Jordan was getting older too, people who love basketball are probably like, all right, dude, like we're sick of Michael Jordan. Like
Talk to
sick of
Knicks
him.
fans in the 90s. They're like, okay, I
Right.
think we're good. I think we're ready for
Yeah.
him to like be gone. Like we're over it. Like we get it. But however, Michael Jordan's play was incredible. Again, like a Steph Curry, someone who's just a marvel to watch. I would make the argument that LeBron's play isn't that exciting to watch. He's not a graceful player. He's just a superior athlete that just kind of bends people by sheer will and can do things that other people can't do. Jordan, I think, could do things that other people couldn't do, but he did it with finesse. And I think he wasn't the biggest guy. He was 6'6". There were guys who were bigger than him, but he was able to do it. I think one of the things about Steph Curry that's amazing to watch is he's not a very big, strong, or quick guy, or like super quick guy, but he's just like immensely skilled.
I think the most impressive thing is what Brady has done with the people around him. His wide receiver core over the years, who you couldn't name their names or where they went after or where they came before, and Bill Belichick's ability and that front office ability to locate talent and work them in a system with Tom Brady to become highly effective.
One of the great things about Brady is the type of person that he is. I've talked about how much I love Aaron Rodgers. He's the best quarterback I've ever seen. I don't care if he only wins one Super Bowl. He is the best quarterback I've ever seen. However, what Brady does, Brady makes everybody better. Now, Rodgers makes, I think, people better on the team and certain players, but Brady makes Brady has an effect on the entire team. Like the defense plays better. I think everyone is more focused. I think he's more likable, which I do think is a thing on a team. I think he's just a guy you want to play for, you want to root for, and you will follow him, to the ends of the earth,
Because he's a winner.
Exactly. Now, Rodgers wins too, but I don't think Rodgers can do that. I don't think Rodgers can win over certain people. I think he's been able to do that in his career because he also wins, and people want to be on a winning team, and they will come to Green Bay to play with him. But when Brady's on your team, it's like it would be different. Like Brady would have such an impact on any business, any organization. Like you could put Tom Brady into some business or whatever, and I bet that business would just perform better because the board would like him, the directors would like him, the staff would like him. You hear him talk. He's just a guy that is a great teammate and would do anything for anybody if it helps the team win. I don't know if Rodgers would do that. You know what I mean? Rodgers would be like, nah, I don't like you.
So then to that thought, then this broadcast team might be the best broadcast team in history.
Burkhardt's great. Also, too, though, I feel bad for Olsen, right? Greg Olsen? Wasn't he his partner, Burkhardt?
I'm not sure.
I thought that was like the duo, and then he just got Olsen got kicked to the curb for Brady. I mean, what are you going to do? It's Tom Brady. But Olsen was awesome in that booth, and I think he was with Kevin Burkhardt. But I love that. I think Brady will be able to offer a lot of insight, and I think he'll be better than Breeze because Brady is just, I mean, God, after his 5,000 documentaries he's done about his life, he's just very comfortable in his own skin and is honest, still guarded, which I think is important. You kind of have to have somewhat of a filter on a broadcast team. That's why I don't think Aaron Rodgers would be very good for it, because I think he would say something that would get him in trouble because he doesn't care. Brady, I think there's that filter, but also he's genuine and offers a lot of insight and way more comfortable in his own skin versus Breeze, where I don't think Breeze is great. I don't think he's great on the panel on NBC, and I don't think he's great in-game either because he just doesn't seem super comfortable. And I don't think comfortable in that sort of spotlight. So I expect Brady to be really good at it.
We don't even know how good he is, and they gave him 10 years. I mean, who does that, right?
He's good. I think they wouldn't have done that. They wouldn't have done that if he wasn't good. They remember Romo got a ton of money not his biggest eventually got a bigger contract, but when he first started with CBS, like they knew that he was awesome. Like CBS like fought hard to get him on their broadcast versus a couple other ones. Like
He's my favorite to watch, I think.
He's great. He's great.
Yeah.
The knock on him too has been interesting is when a game isn't good. Like he's awesome when it's a really compelling game and offenses are, flying high, like that Bills Chiefs game. Like he's amazing when it's really close game, but people say like, and he does, like he kind of phones it in when it's a shitty game or the offenses aren't great or particularly the quarterback plays bad. He's like, nah, he just kind of like packs it in. And you're going to get games like that. You're going to get duds. And so people are like, yeah, he needs to kind of bring it for every game, regardless if it's like a 10-3 game, or like a defensive struggle.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess we will see if he ever retires when he's in the booth, and we'll see how that goes.
I can't wait till he retires, and so the Packers can win some more Super Bowls. I'm so over him.
Right.
And I have to worry again about another year about freaking Tampa Bay, and I'm just like, oh, God. Like, and of course, Godwin. Like when Brady comes back, you get everybody, which is so annoying because he has so many weapons in Tampa on offense and the defensive side of the ball. Rodgers has 0 weapons to throw to, so it'll be again really hard to beat them. They're going to be one of the top teams.
Can you see him losing in the playoffs and then being in the booth for the Super Bowl?
That's a great question.
If he loses, decides I'm retiring,
does he lose? Where? When? Does he lose in the NFC Championship 2 weeks before the Super Bowl?
Sure.
It would be really compelling television because he could just talk about the game 2 weeks prior to be like, all right, well, this is what we didn't do well. You know what I mean? Like that would be super compelling. Wow, for ratings, I think that's a great idea. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
I bet they would since he's already has the job.
Right. No, I mean,
and he knows he's retiring, so it's not like he's going to be like, oh, it's too fresh of a wound. It's like, my God, this guy's like 100 years old. Like he gets it. I think that's a great idea.
All right, I'll tweet him. We'll see what he says.
Yeah.
Please do that. All right, man. Well, that was all I had. Did you have anything else?
The only other thing I had, a couple under the radar players I wanted to talk about. Yeah. All right. So here's one underrated player that I want to get your kind of thoughts on. He just pitched for the Yankees, Nestor Cortez. So
yes.
under the radar player, Luis Patino, starting pitcher for the Rays. I don't know if he's underrated, but Alex Manoah, who you love, and he's been killing it for my fantasy team. By the way, your fantasy team sucks, dude.
All right, we can not. Hey, I got my first win this week. I
know, but your team is terrible.
Yeah, but I clapped those cheeks though. I came off with a big win.
You did.
I think I won 300 something to 100 or something.
Yeah. Nicky Lopez for the Royals, Andrew Vaughn, and Garrett Crochet if he ever comes back. So
I'll touch on Nestor Cortez, okay?
Okay.
Nestor Cortez has quickly made a name for himself. First off with a mustache, second off by his play, third off the team.
By the way, mustache, isn't that a violation since the Yankees can't have facial hair?
Yes, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, but haven't other Yankees had facial hair? Like
Don Mattingly has had a mustache when he played first base there, right?
So that makes no sense. So the rule is you can't have facial hair except a mustache if it's well groomed is acceptable.
Apparently, I mean,
but you can't have a goatee,
right?
Okay, so that makes no sense.
We're gonna have to look into that.
Where did that come from? Is that Steinbrenner's rule? Who made that rule?
Yankees mustache rule. Since 1976, the New York Yankees have maintained a strict appearance policy specifying that players must not touch their collars and that they may have mustaches but no other facial hair.
It says mustaches?
Yeah.
Wow.
Hair must not touch their collar, so your hair can't touch your collar, and they may have mustaches but no other facial hair.
Dude, they really enforce that too. Like they never get let beards get that long ever. I've watched too, even Garrett Cole, other players. I'm just like, wow, they're really Johnny Damon. I'm like, they're really enforcing that. Like, they get it like a 1 or 2 day stubble, and then they like have to shave it.
Yeah, like firemen, pretty much. It's like a fireman rule. Gotta have short hair and mustaches. That's it. But yeah, nasty Nestor Cortez. Also, John, he takes the subway to the games. Did you know that?
Well, he's a New Yorker.
Yeah, he takes the subway to the games because
he's a man of the people.
He
Have
is.
you heard of the people?
Nobody recognizes him either. So last 5 games, 1.63 ERA, ridiculous. 27 innings pitched. He's only given up 5 runs. And he has 37 strikeouts. I think last game he was averaging 11 to 13 strikeouts per 9 innings. He's just been electric. And as far as I'm concerned, he's the best pitcher on the New York Yankees pitching staff right now. Until you prove me wrong, Garrett Cole, Nestor Cortez. And the thing that's amazing about him, John, and you would probably appreciate this too, is he is not a flame ball thrower. He averages his fastball 3 miles per hour slower than league average. I think he's coming around 90 miles per hour. League average is about 93. So he throws slower than league average. He's got nothing special. He's not very tall, but what he does very good. And if you pay attention,
he's being left-handed.
Left-handed does help, but also keeping batters uneven or uneasy and off balance. So he has many different deliveries. We've all seen it when he's on the bump and he does his little leg kick and he takes his time and then he'll quick pitch you. He uses timing against batters and does it so very well and effectively that he doesn't need to, overcompensate with throwing 98 miles per hour. It's really amazing. It's really fun to watch because that's like his advantage or like his little niche that he's keeping batters that you can't time him up because he has so many different deliveries and you're going to see it so many different times during your at bat.
Right. And, he's 27, so he kind of came sort of out of nowhere. Last year, he was great. 22 appearances for the Yankees and was kind of a revelation. In 93 innings, he struck out 103 hitters, which with that lack of velocity is pretty impressive. A 2.9 ERA and a 1.08 whip. And held the opposing batting average to 217. So he was slotted to be in the pen starting this year, but has really blossomed into like one of their more reliable
Beautiful
pitchers.
Young man.
Yeah. And a man of the people taking the subway.
Yeah. He eats apples in the dugout. I mean, how cool is that?
It's not that cool. They have a variety of things in the dugout.
I know, but it's cool just to watch them sitting there.
You know what else is cool? I'm starting a Chicago softball league in like a month. And my son, we just had a birthday party for my son who turned 1, and It was baseball themed. And we have an abundance of Big League Chew. And,
nice.
And I was like, sweet. I'm ready to play. I haven't swung a bat in like a year, but as an adult, you can't practice anymore. It just looks weird. If you're just by yourself as an adult now, I'm noticing
taking hacks off a tee.
Yeah, you can't do it. It looks weird. You need like either a kid with you, your kid,
preferably,
preferably. Not someone else's kid. I just borrow kids on the street. Like, hey, can you just stand here while I take some hacks?
So I don't look weird. Yeah.
So I don't look weird, but like it looks super weird. Like, thank God I
want to shack balls.
Well, yeah. Like, also I was taking my dog for a walk, and even then, like, I stopped. There's like a Little League game going on. I just like I just like baseball, so I just stopped and was watching like 10 or 11. Starting to gain skills, and I was like, oh, this maybe my son will play one day, or maybe I'll be like one of these baseball dads or something. And I was just sitting there watching it, and then even people were looking at me, even with a dog, being like, dude, like I'm at like a weird age where I'm like, I'm not super old, but I'm not like young. So they're like, why are you here? And I was like, all right.
I know, but you don't look weird. I mean, at least I have a good judge of character. When you kind of look at someone, you're like, who the fuck is that guy or whatever.
Right, but let's say I didn't have my dog. Then would it be weird?
I think maybe the dog looks like maybe like a luring technique, Here's my dog. Maybe that's
why they're looking at me more intently and be like, this guy fucking just got a dog so he could watch his kids play baseball.
Yeah. Hey, I'm actually starting a league. Do you guys want to play?
I bring a backpack with my Big League Chew. Like, hey guys, want some gum?
Hey, Tyler, great job at third base.
You guys are really great. Just really enhancing your skills. Just super great. You guys want some big league chew?
What's wrong with this
They're like,
guy?
sir, you can't come here anymore. Like,
Sir, do you have like someone that's supposed to be watching you?
be like, I'm not. I get 10 minutes outside the house every day, so I
If you
wanted to use it here.
if you had those headphones on while you were out there, they would definitely think something
Like
was up.
completely not plugged to anything, just hanging by my shorts, and be like,
Yeah.
or just doing play by play with headphones on, nothing plugged in, and just
Yeah.
like screaming.
Well, it's like in what something about Mary, right? That guy.
Oh yeah,
My baseball.
what a great movie. Not
Yeah.
again, not a movie you could make it today,
No,
but what a
no.
phenomenal movie. Ben Stiller, underrated comedian in my opinion.
Appearance by Brett Favre too. Shout out.
Dude, 100%, man. Do you realize I've been watching Pro Bowl quarterbacks since 1992?
I know it must be nice.
It's pretty sweet. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I mean, I have never had a team that has been highly successful for that long.
You know, I'm going to be honest. If I was a Bears fan, I would have jumped ship a long time ago. There's no way I would put up with this, especially post COVID. I'm like,
And
life is short. Like, I'm not gonna. You don't have to be a fan
that's what I was
of,
going to say,
of
John.
the
I
team.
think that is a hot take or something that doesn't get talked about enough. You know what? You pay money, you buy merchandise, you spend 3 hours every Sunday watching this team for 17 weeks, and they're dog shit and they don't try to get better.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You have no, I mean, people, oh, you have no loyalty. Okay, well, if you were in a marriage and it was terrible and they were terrible to you and they didn't try to get better, would you stay?
Right.
Some
So
might.
I don't know if I talked about this on this pod. I know we're going long, and I know that's a no for you, but I'm going to be quick.
I'm dying. I'm dying.
Craig Calcaterra, who's a baseball writer, he comes on the 670 The Score Chicago radio station here in Chicago with Dan Bernstein. He wrote a new book called Fandom, and his whole thing in that book is talking about, hey, it's okay to be a fan of a team that you grew up on, and loyalty is important. However, if you're a fan of the Browns, or if you're a fan of a team who has been notoriously frugal and shitty for so many years and has not tried to win or invested money in resources, players, everything, then you should not spend your time, money, resources following or investing your free time in that team. And it's okay. It's okay to do that. If the ownership doesn't give a shit about the fans, a fan shouldn't give a shit about the team.
Right.
And I totally agree with that.
It's a business, John. Any restaurant you go to and you have terrible service,
Yeah,
you're not going back there.
100%.
Well, it's in my neighborhood. I love Cheesecake Factory. No, they're terrible there.
Right.
And I don't really
We
mean
do that
about
with sports,
Cheesecake.
right? People like suffer, but like, oh God, like my
Mhm.
team is terrible. But you know what? I am a fan. It's like, you don't have to do that.
Right. And I've kind of dabbled with that. Not that. I mean, I watch
Have
every
you thought about not being a Bear fan anymore? I assume your life would get a lot better.
No, I've never thought about jumping ship for the
Why
Bears.
not? It doesn't
Surprisingly.
have to be the Packers, although it would be a smart move. We're awesome. But why
Yeah.
wouldn't you just leave? Like, who cares? So what? Your friends are gonna give you shit. So what? This team sucks.
It has nothing. Honestly, I just don't think it bothers me as much. I don't
Oh,
know.
okay.
I think just because I love Sundays, like I'm very happy on football Sundays.
Football
There's
Sundays are the
bunch-
best. They're
it's
like
the
the best
best. So
16, 17
even
weeks.
if I think maybe that's why football's different. Like even if your team sucks, you still got fantasy, you still got gambling. There's a bunch of other games, and I don't know. Like you usually watch football together. I don't watch 162 or Cubs games with everybody. Right. It's every Sunday. Everyone comes together. Hey, we're all gonna suck today. Okay, let's eat some food, drink some beers, and it's more like that's that really kind of camaraderie.
Everyone's like, hey, let's have some beers, let's get some food, and let's watch this team fuck this up.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that's okay. As far as like baseball goes, like I watch the Cubs every night, but I moved right outside of Philly. So now they have
Philly's
like cool gear.
You can move to like such a great time. Like the Phillies are such a fun team to watch. There's so many players I like on that team. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Right. So that's why I'm like, Yeah, I watch a lot of Phillies games. I buy their stuff, and of course, it's because I live so close. But
But they're
yeah,
a fun team. They're giving you reason to watch. Like they spent the money on Harper. They got Castellanos, like
right.
JT Realmuto. Like they have great players that you want to come see and you want to watch on TV. Like they've
And I'm
given you
also
reason to buy that hat. You know what I
and I'm
mean? They
also
earned it.
educated. I'm also educated enough to where if someone's like, "Oh, you just moved here, you're not a fan." Really? Let's go through the bullpen and name as many relievers as you can, or let's name the first, everyone's position or whatever it is. You know what I mean? And it's
Right.
like
You're an educated fan, but let's say you weren't. So what? So what if you move there? Like, hey, I want to support the local team. So what? That should be
right,
fine. Who
right.
cares?
Yeah, some people are very against that.
Some people are assholes.
Right.
We
All
should
right,
end on
John. Well, I think I'm gonna go die in a corner. Oh, nice.
We're both under the weather. We're both playing hurt here. I think we should
Yeah,
tell the audience
I
that.
I apologize. It was not my best performance today, but I'm pretty sure I do have the C word.
Yeah.
So
But if for the viewers, that hat, that throwback Phillies hat is pretty tight. So
yeah, it's
that's a
nasty.
plus.
It's nasty, Nestor. But yeah, do not feel that great. So sorry if it was a little dry, like my dry mouth. But yeah, I'll be back. I'll be back Thursday, and then we got to come back again with another epi 51.
Cool, man.
Okay,
Thanks, everybody.
guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later. Peace.
Peace.